Accused and alone, it wasn't me by myself. I needed hands to push me in a hopeless night. I didn't know they would miss me. Now in my sleep, on a dream. When we were young, my heart saw things so different. Such a colorful mind. We were so persistent. Day after day, alone. It wasn't me by myself. I needed hands that pushed me in the hopeless night. I didn't know they would miss me. Now in my sleep, I feel all the dreams. When we were young, my heart saw things so different. Such a colorful mind. We were so persistent. Day after day, it kept slipping away. Life goes on. Life goes on. Life goes on. Life will find a way to carry on. And now I believe all of the things that they said. They didn't know I was listening, but it's all here in my head, and my soul is on fire. I need to be free, so hold on tightly, 'cause all it takes is time. If I had no one to miss me, there'd be no mountain to climb. Life goes on. Life goes on. Life goes on.
Well, that's about perfect timing for that song. Thank you very much. Life goes on, and indeed it does.
That's right. Oh, Gail says this album made me once again remember what a great voice John had. Well, that's true, but that was Steve's.
Yeah, that was me, though. But he did have a great voice. I mean, listen to the Bogeyman and any of that stuff.
Yep.
And you always knew it was John. Sounded like John.
Mm-hmm.
But,
Oh, Laurie and Michael, did you get your CDs? Please say yes. Please say yes.
we're going to just hold the show until we find out.
Yes, we're waiting. Laurie Richardson, Michael Newton, did you get your CDs? They don't want to answer.
Oh boy, they're not talking to us. We have nothing to do with
You
it.
don't have any. Michael didn't get his.
Oh, that sucks.
That does. Okay.
Okay.
We had to. Oh, Laurie did not get hers.
What's up?
We have to go up the ladder.
I gotta climb
to the
up the
roof.
ladder. Yeah, I got a couple of other things to deal with there, but it's, you know, listen, for the most part, it's been great, and I'm sorry you guys didn't get your CDs on time.
Especially since they pre-ordered. She said, write to Deco. We will call Deco.
Yeah, I'll call Charlie. But I can only tell you this about that. Let me say, I feel like Vaughn Meter now.
Who's that?
Aha! Now you're showing you're not age.
Who's Vaughn Meter?
There was a, oh God, you would have been like 6 or 7. There was a parody album on the Kennedys, and Vaughn Meter was the guy who did, Life at the White House. Me and Caroline, let me say this about that. He was great, and that was the parody album back there, early 60s, 61 maybe.
And why do you feel like him?
Why?
Mm-hmm.
I forgot.
So I think you feel like.
Here it comes, Mr. Magoo. What?
No. The woman that was married to James Garner in The Notebook. Oh, come on, Remy.
That's what's her name?
Allie.
Jessica Tandy? Is that who I
No,
am?
it's not Jessica Tandy.
Who is it?
Castro Neves.
No, great. I only
Her
know.
son is Castro Neves.
No. Castro Neves is an Indianapolis
Right.
Indy driver. You're
driver.
thinking of John Cassavetes.
Yes.
Is her husband.
You
Okay,
are.
so
And
what's her
son
name?
Also.
And her son what? Is
Her
a race
son
car
is-
driver?
No, her son is the one that I think produced that.
That produced the
The
Notebook?
Mm-hmm.
We could have given her a bigger part.
Gina Rollins.
Okay. I feel like that.
There you go. Nick Cassavetes. It
Nick
was directed by
Cassavetes. Is that
Nick.
not what did I say? John Cassavetes?
Yeah, that's right. Husband.
That's his father.
Right.
Hey, listen, you're not the only one to dispense blind data around here.
What? Wait, Laurie said that it's been showing USPS sent it back in September, but it never shipped. So they printed the label? That's what that means.
You want to try an experiment?
What?
Let's send them one tomorrow and see which gets there first.
Okay, we will do that. Because we happen to have,
Yeah, we have some.
here.
And I promised you,
A present.
I cannot account for the. But what I was going to say about the business and the record industry and all that, it's, not only is every business strained by, the restrictions or whatever, the, shipping stuff and the, 800 ships in the bay or whatever, the crap that's going on. So I have to imagine, they put in these jobs. It's not like somebody's sitting there going, okay, I wonder when those guys are going to deliver the record. Oh, it should be here any minute. No, they are working round the clock. And so, it's supply chain and and I don't really know what it is. And I don't even know why I'm tap dancing because it's not my fault.
That's right. Well, Gail said she listened.
How does that feel?
Gail listened to it on Spotify before it came to
Uh-huh.
her. But you had to pay to do that, don't you? Or is that like Napster?
No, wait, I think you can get a free account.
Really?
I
Then
think
why
there's
buy the
free.
CD?
What?
Don't listen, people.
Well,
Oh, Gail said we are the best. That's right.
no, if we're not, we're definitely among the top 2.
Lori said it's not our fault. We know it's not our
No,
fault.
it's not. Believe me,
We know it.
But the
If it
good
was our
news
fault, you
is,
would have had one last week
Yeah,
because
the
we
good-
was at home.
the good news is when you're really gonna like the package when you get it. It's it's simple but elegant. No, it's everybody with regard to the package. When you actually have it in your hand, it's pretty cool. So let's see.
Okay, Tim's having some problems with his ex. She came over and slapped him in the eyeglasses,
Not in eyeglasses.
and he cannot see. Oh, we're sorry for that, Tim,
I am sorry for that.
but no gloom.
You shouldn't let him get that close.
Her.
Her, them, I said. I was trying not to be, I don't know what her pronouns are.
That's That's something Steve
I said her.
recently learned.
I said her, right? Her pronouns.
Pronouns.
Oh, well, okay. You know,
Oh, Gail said to her about the CDs, getting back to the CDs.
oh, okay.
It means that they're being ordered faster than they can handle, which is a good thing. Well, let's hope so.
Well, you know, I know that when we first did the talks, when you do the contract and do all the deal points and all that, we talked about how many we thought we should make, because think about it this way. You're paying retail for whatever it is, and so on and so forth. And out of that retail, the record company has to get their money. Of course, the retailer gets his money. Government has to get theirs. And then there's a whole bunch of other things that happen with that money, I hope.
Oh.
It's called publishing and writer's rights. So when you buy a hard copy of the record, the songwriters and the publishers get a certain piece of that money. Whereas when you listen to it on Spotify, they have now figured out a way to cut pennies into 1/100th of a cent. So I don't know even who decides these things. I get royalty statements from, every quarter. And it's like, just for instance, $1.99.006. How'd the 006 get in there?
I have no idea.
Anyway,
We're getting back to Tim here.
getting back to Tim.
He said, I don't want to sleep with you. I wouldn't sleep with you.
I wouldn't sleep with you.
And do you mean you shared it with your ex-wife and that's why she hit you in the face?
Well, figure out something hit me in the eye. It's your hotel key. Maybe he's living the song.
Yeah.
She didn't hit you with a hotel key, did she?
No.
Because that would be great.
I don't know.
Did she throw flowers that
Slapped him
didn't
in the
reach you?
eyeglasses.
Well, I'm trying to trace it back through the song. If he,
Oh, I don't know if he played that for her or what he said. I don't want to sleep with you.
Uh-huh.
And I wouldn't sleep with you.
I wouldn't sleep with you.
Damn right, he says. Whatever that means. It was a hotel key?
It was a hotel.
Okay,
I
so
knew
you're
it.
making this up?
I knew it was a plaid. It was like a diamond, right? One of those green ones with a 3 on it. I know that.
And it's just she stays away from drama. There
No
you
drama,
go.
mama.
No drama.
No drama.
I think maybe he's making it up, trying
Yeah,
to be funny.
he's just being humorous tonight, old Tim.
Yoda McCullen.
Let me hear you used Yoda in a sentence.
Me?
Yoda, record's over.
Yoda.
It's been a long day. You had a bad day. Actually, it hasn't really been that long a day, although we are still on, what is this now? Is this not daylight savings time?
This is real time.
So we're still on, so we are on
Our
the wrong
schedule.
time forever?
Well, I don't know. They might not do daylight savings time again.
Well, now all of a sudden, I mean, we're going to sleep an hour earlier than we usually go to sleep. We're certainly not waking up an hour earlier than we were waking up, but I don't know.
Well, because that's our body clocks. Are used to going to sleep.
Let me hear your body clock.
Oh, wait. Gail said Pat Romano says 2 more days.
Oh, wow, man. Did you get the file and the bread I sent you? Criminals.
Man, he was in jail a long time.
I almost want to know what he did.
I
Almost.
don't want to know.
No, I really don't want to know.
And I wonder if, like, the more times you've been put in Facebook jail, the longer sentence you
I'm
get.
sure he has all that worked out. I'm sure he knows exactly
Well,
how.
he just missed a month of his life for whatever he did. Is it
He
worth
missed
it, Pat?
for Facebook. I'm thinking he'll survive.
Well,
Because there's,
he
you know how many
keeps
other
checking in.
social media platforms there are for silliness and jokery.
Yeah, but with people that are in Pat's age group,
Yes,
what?
Instagram.
I don't know about that.
Okay. You want me to show you?
And now Twitter. Oh,
What is up
you hear
with that
about
dude?
somebody bought the name Pepsi and they wrote
They wrote Coke is
Coke.
much better than Pepsi.
and they got the verified check, like they were really Pepsi.
Now, what does that do to those of us who have the blue verified check?
I don't know.
Makes it worthless. Although I don't even know how many people look to see whether you're really you or not. I don't
Well,
know.
I
I
don't
guess
know.
some do.
I'm on Facebook. There's a John Entwistle, and I know it's not John.
I don't listen. I don't. You know what? These are my rules in the 21st century. Don't put anything on the internet that you don't want to that you might want to get back. No, nothing. Don't say it. Don't type it. Don't show a picture of it. Just don't.
Well, Patty-
Videos, same thing. But the big one, this is the big one. My advice to you all, this is the big one.
Mm-hmm.
Wherever you go, whatever you do, we're gonna go through it.
Together.
Just always assume that you are on camera, because you are.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that's not conspiracy, that's not politics, that's just faux rizzle.
Well, then they should be able to catch more criminals.
Not if they're wearing a hoodie and a frickin'
Patty-
mandatory face mask.
Patty has been in jail twice, Facebook jail.
Really?
Mm-hmm. She says if you repeat it, back in jail. So you think he's repeating the same behavior?
Is that what you think it is? Pat's like habitual? Like a career criminal? Digital criminal?
She says they take words out of context. Really?
Like-
Really?
A lot of people do that. Well, listen, just in time.
Oh, is our memory lane?
Yeah, memory
Yes.
lane. Now, the idea of this memory lane thing is this is someone who's been on. Can you find the date of his show? I just got.
Oh, because
Gee, producer.
You should have asked me that before.
I asked you now. Please.
Now I'm going to be
Anyway.
fumbling and mumbling.
No, you won't, because nobody even knows about it.
Yeah, they do, because... Oh, no, I didn't write who it was.
Right.
Okay, but he's waiting in the...
Right, so I'm going to let him in because he's ready to come in, and we're going to talk about what he's been doing for the
He
past.
was not...
Oh,
Oh, stop it.
listen, take care of yourself, and here comes Polo Staber.
Polo Saber.
Come in.
Hello, hello.
Hey, man, how are you?
Good. You can hear me all right?
Yeah, pretty good. Yeah.
Good, good, good.
So, welcome back. This is our Memory Lane Monday, and the idea is we're checking in on you to see what you've been doing since the last time we talked to you. Now, bear in mind, do you remember when your episode was?
Not exactly now.
I'm looking it up. How
Yeah.
you doing, Polo?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Excellent.
Anyway, we'll shoot.
I remember Polo.
Yeah.
He was the Bon Jovi tribute band guy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
very good.
did I see a picture of you playing with Ace?
No.
Somebody had an Ace Frehley. It was you and somebody playing a Les Paul Blue into Silver Sunburst. You know what I'm talking about?
Not offhand.
Oh.
Might have been a buddy of mine or something, but it wasn't Ace now.
Oh, okay. Well, it was.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, so, what have you been doing in the past? We'll find out how many months shortly.
Well, I think last time we talked, I was trying to put an original group together and just looking for some members and putting some original material, producing some original material. But I think it was so difficult that Plan B went into motion, and I was looking for a band to join as opposed to starting a band. And so I had the feelers out there, but I wanted something that was, up and running, but not totally at fruition. So I found some great guys. They ran an ad on Facebook, and I went and checked them out, and there was a lot of energy there, and I said, "Hey, man, I think we could do something." So, got with them, and let go of the drummer, and we're all good.
Well,
And
isn't
I'll
that
let you know when
that's
you were
always the
on.
deal breaker?
We were
What?
on October 7th of 2021. So a little over a year ago.
Yeah, how
You were
about
looking
that?
to put a band together. So I guess you got it together.
Yep, you did.
And I had such a great time last time we were on here. We had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's the idea. It's the no gloom ballroom. It's like, I mean, really, the idea of the show, and I say it all the time, is, you're in a club, you're in a venue, you're in a bus, you're in a hotel, and you run into somebody that you know in the business, and you start having that conversation, right? I mean, that's why this is fun, because you and I both speak the same language, no matter where it comes from. So it's about that.
I mean, and just what you were saying. So I've been talking to Dave Robles a lot, and because I met him 30 years ago at guitar camp when I was 18 years old. Here's this young kid playing all these great jazz stuff and just tearing it up. So I made him my friend as soon as I could. And so I'm texting him, and I say, I'm doing your show. He's like, how do you know Steve? And I'm like, I'm like, you know Steve? He's like, so now he was just like, I was running sound for him when I was, stepping in, running sound when I was a teenager. And I'm like, wow, and he talked about all about you. And so it's what you say, that circle that you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's the way, that's the way it goes. And it's funny. I mean, I know Dave, God, at least 30 years it has to be, right? I mean, it would have to be 90s. Yeah. I mean, we probably met him around the same time. If you know.
Right.
Yeah, so I mean, that's cool. And I haven't talked to him since then, just because that's show business. And again,
you were playing all the clubs in that area at the time, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that was the whole club scene, and the whole bar scene, the whole music scene had completely flipped on its head. And we as a band, I don't think we knew what to do about the situation. You can't play for people that don't want you to play, and you can't play. It's just
the clubs got
the season.
smaller.
The clubs got smaller, and it was either compromise your stage show or whatever. And it's weird how it goes.
Your reputation from that band, though, and I think talking about music and bands, like, what do you want the most? Is it money or whatever? I think musical respect is the most important thing. And that band that you were in has like a shit ton of that, a shit ton of the respect from that day. I mean, I'm talking to my friend Carrie, oh my God, and oh my God. And so, I mean, and that took you to where you went after that. But if you didn't have that solid foundation to build on, and so kudos, man, because that's what we're all looking for, that respect.
Yeah, man. Well, and you're 100% right, and it's very cool that you realize that. When you're in it the way we were, and the time that we were in it, we're not thinking about any of that stuff. I mean, we're not thinking about money. Eventually you think about it all, but the thing was, and I think about this all the time, because I go back to the earliest days when we didn't even have a name for the band yet, and and we would play in the sub basement of our apartment complex and have shows until they came down and yelled at us, and the excitement for weeks building up to that, when you knew. I mean, I remember having the first gig, so to speak. We rode our bicycles down to the hardware store and got, the things that you screw in a light socket so you can make it into a plug. And that's what we did. And it had colored light.
What'd you do with those?
What?
What'd you do with those?
What did we do with them? They probably took them away from us. We turned the place into a nightclub, and it was a bicycle room. They probably took everything.
But that's like guerrilla rock and roll show.
Absolutely, man. That's
They were kids.
this takes garage band to a deeper level. This
And
is basement band.
Was this Rat Race Choir?
Well, it was the beginnings of Rat Race. It was before we were anything. We're talking 66,
Oh, wow.
65. See,
When did you guys? Was there a moment where you're like, "Hey, this is getting serious"?
yeah, there was, yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's funny because you're on the way up to it. Let's just call it a complete thing. You know, I don't want to rattle anybody's cage, but when you're on the rise to it, you don't realize you're on the rise to it. You're just like, it's one new great thing after another, and let's do this and let's do that. And then you get to the point where you're just cruising on it because it's like, yeah, I'm going to play. It's going to be great, and you're not really looking at it like that. You know what I mean? I don't think you realize that kind of stuff till after the fact. You know, until you look back at the whole thing, and you have to make heads or tails of what you did with your opportunity, because it's exactly what it is. Playing music is a gift. It's a luxury, and what did you do with it?
Yeah, but he wants to know when Rat Race knew that they had, like,
You have to get to a rehearsal and be like, "All right, guys, we're really starting to hit stride here. This is,
Oh, well, that would have, you know what? That would have been a lot earlier than I'm talking about.
Right.
That would have been.
Mayo was in the band?
No, way before Mayo. This would have been 71, 72, because we had summer gigs at the same place. This
Right.
place on Montauk Highway called Mitty's General Store. And we got to sleep there. In the first year, they gave us this, like, upstairs of a house, and the equipment is set up not for a weekend, but for a season.
A residency.
So, yeah, right. Yeah. And so you go down every day. I mean, we're teenagers. I don't even think I was drinking age. I was probably 16 or 17. Summer of 71. I was 16. And you're just so excited about the whole thing. But then when you get into the routine of your same gear every day on the stage, let's do this, let's do that, you start to realize how much latitude you have and what you can do, and that you, if you want, you can do anything you want. And we just.
You ever get to a point where you felt pressure?
No, I don't think I ever. No, for the band, you mean to be?
Be like, well, we gotta be this, or hey, we're getting bigger now. We gotta, add different songs or write better, or.
Well, I was certainly. There were those of us in the band that felt more strongly about playing original material, and that became kind of a bone of contention. We were just not. There comes a point when you're in a band for that long, and especially from being little kids, that you start to develop your own sensibility, what it is you want to do. I can't tell you that you should be more professional. I can't tell you that you should work harder. I can't tell you that if you can't do something, you should let us do it. That's, if we're in a partnership, and that's the trick of the whole thing. If you're in a partnership, which is a four-way marriage, you have to respect the partnership above everything else, or the whole thing goes down. So you start to maybe compromise and, like, okay, we'll do this and we'll do that. And but I think, what happened with us, I think we just, there were the times when it would have been smart for us to make the move and make a record. We either weren't ready to, or no, we weren't ready to, for all of us collectively weren't.
Right.
Or, when we were ready, then, nothing was happening. I think we just, we probably needed better management. But
was there a part of the band didn't want to go to that original thing, but you and another guy were like, this is what's going to take us to another level? And obviously that's what takes you to another level, right? I mean,
well, it is. It is, and it wasn't. The problem was there wasn't really any unity on the subject. I had my opinion, he had his opinion, he had his opinion, and he had his opinion. And if they're all different, there's nobody to, there's no way to balance it out. So
That's kind of what I'm like. A band has to be all on the same page.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, but you have to be realistic too. You have to be realistic. Yes, you can go out and play for $1,000 a night, $200 a man. That's a $600 weekend if you're Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But what's next? And once they've heard it enough, or how far do you have to travel to keep it fresh and keep working? So, and I don't know what the club scene is out there anymore. It's the All I know is
you just hit on the most delicate kind of thing. It's really like that's the hardest part. What you just said is finding that balance, that line, that whole. It's an art in itself with the gigs, the songs, the sound, the travel. How far are we going to go? It's an art that to get to that other. I remember I was playing in this cover band and guys would come up. And the cover band was very successful, Rainmaker back in 2000s. We were killing it. And younger bands would come up to us and they're like, wow, how do you get here? How do you get here? And I'm like, I want to know how to get to the other level. I'm not worried, how do you get to that?
Well, the truth is there is no way. It's not a way. I mean, if you must get there at all cost, then there's a way. But that's not the way to get there. To answer your question, going back, I think to have the respect of people without having a million selling album and without having a history of worldwide touring, to be in that, there's a very subtle difference between a myth and a legend. And sometimes it's cooler to go with the myth. And the truth of it is, I have enjoyed the success that you and I are talking about now more in the last handful of years than I ever did before, because I can relax and look at it and be very proud of what we did, because
it was legit. And it wasn't like, I talk to my band members, I say, I want the band to be, I want fans to say, wow, man, we got to go see this band. They're really cool to hang out with. I don't want that. I want, we got to go see this band to really sound good. And they're cool to hang out with.
Yeah, and that's for us, or for me, and I know this is for everybody. We didn't always see eye to eye on whatever, but that's just life. That's human beings. But the one thing that we did always see eye to eye on was excellence. And it wasn't for any other reason but to be the best that we can be. And if we can be better tomorrow than we were today, we should do that, whatever it is to do that. And when everybody's mind is trying to do that, nobody has to say, hey, man, could you do this? Because you're already trying to do it. And that's what kept that band together. That's what made that band as memorable, because the work ethic on everybody's part, there was nothing more important than the notes, no matter what notes they were.
Didn't you say y'all were kind of competitive?
Well, yeah, and that's another thing. You would, when you play with three other accomplished musicians, you tend to, there's not really a competition, because I'm playing drums and you're playing keyboards.
He's a guitar player.
But I'm not him, anybody, Larry. But there's still a thing that, oh yeah, watch this. You know what I mean? When you play with guys 6 nights a week for years, you learn that unspoken language, and that, coupled with the respect for everybody's talent and the fans, and listen, we're here now doing this, that is what supersedes all of it and makes you drive to the end of the road.
Well, going into this band and being the self-appointed musical director, I said that we have to hold everyone accountable. Have to be held accountable. And I think, but that means listening to everybody else too, and listening and saying, I think a lot of people just get in their own little tunnel, and they're not listening to the gel of the band.
Well, it's that's
In particular, was my solo great? It doesn't matter. Are the bass and drums locking in, man?
well, it's the whole that's the point. That's that's the connection that has to be there. And the thing about it is that I've had two chances at this thing, and the first one, which is my the first half of my career, was spent in one place doing the same thing, pushing the envelope, pushing. And that taught me how to enjoy my music. And the only way for me to enjoy it is to be better tomorrow. I used to go home after every gig or go wherever, and in my car, I'd have a tape of the gig that I just played because I wanted, and I have them. I have hundreds of them. They're not the greatest, but I can hear what I played and I can hear what everybody else played. And you got to listen, and you have to make the band and the sound of the band the most important thing.
Right. Listening. What do you think was the biggest lesson you learned when you were touring with John Entwistle? What was that? What do you think you learned most? Because now did you feel like after Rat Race and then going to John that you went from up another level?
No, I felt like I moved down the whole, because you don't get to play with guys that are better than the guys I played with in Rat Race. You just don't get to do. It doesn't matter what it says on their resumes. These guys in their disciplines were some of the best musicians in the world. So what John,
that's why your reputation still carries on today.
Right, and the thing that I'll tell you what I learned from Entwistle, and you'll find it odd maybe. I learned tons of stuff. I mean, I could write encyclopedias about it. But the first thing that I learned was to think in terms of years instead of weeks and months.
Yes. Yes. Look at the big picture. Don't look at this gig coming up.
Right.
Because sometimes you might have to make sacrifices for the bigger picture, maybe? Is that an accurate statement? Or
well, it's you should have your, I mean, don't forget, we're going back pandemic. You should know what you're going to be doing for the next 18 months without question, whether it's touring with The Who or touring with, this band and that band, or this. I mean, because there are guys that go from one tour to another. They know their calendar, they know what it is, but where do you want to be in a year and a half? Do you still want to be doing this? Do you like doing it? If you do, then you're on the money. But if you're trying to get a record out, you've got to think, how long, 18 months till I can do this thing. When we must have been talking about this Entwistle record for a year, at least. And it was easy from the standpoint that I had all the material, so I didn't have to go digging it out. But still, to put it together and do it right, and I'm already thinking about 2024. I've got things going through 2023, and listen, you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans, but you have to have plans. You have to have you got to have a plan.
Plans. Yeah?
Yes. And
I call it a vision. You have to have a vision of what's coming up. Otherwise, there's so many, I'm like, well, what's your vision? Well, I don't know. Other than what you just said, the next day or the next gig. It's got to be, where are we going? A vision. Right.
Right.
And because
a goal. I mean, if the goal is to be the bet, whatever, you still have to know how much time you have to do it. I mean, there is a reality in this business, not quite as visible as it is in sports, but everybody's got an expiration date, and you don't know in 10 years, God forbid, that I mean, some guys get arthritis, some guys don't, some guys get ulcers, life actually happens. So you have to be realistic about doing as much as you can while you can, not out of fear of any of those things, but you have to keep moving while you can. And I think what you'll discover is that that's what keeps you moving.
dude, you're fucking awesome.
Well, listen, it's a long time, man. I walked down this road my whole life. It's the only thing I've ever done, and I'll tell you that. For me, if I had a goal, I love to play. There's nothing that I like better than to play. It's and especially in a band where I can just let everything I have out, full intense.
Yeah.
So with Rat Race, that was a little bit more of an orchestral using of those things, playing with guys, stops, starts, communications. With Entwistle, it was like a dog fight. It was like just all the whole thing. It was almost vicious, and it was so much fun because it was just it was aggressive and.
Well, John said that playing with Steve.
Played with Keith. Was that because he was an aggressive player who played with Keith, who was probably one of the most aggressive drummers ever, probably, I would think.
Yeah, I think, well, you know what, about John's technique, I think why we got on together is because he had formed himself into John Entwistle, obviously, long before I ever came along.
Right.
And I had formed myself into Steve. That's what I wanted to do, is be identifiable, have a certain style. I'm an overplayer, so I wouldn't do good in a 60s pop band. But because what I love is to just play as fast as I can, as loud as I can, as intricate as I can. I like to use it's just fun, So my goal was to keep having fun. And when I connected with Entwistle, I think I was probably in my early 40s. He was probably 87. How old? I don't even know. 44, 54, 64, 74, 80. He would have been 45, 6 or 7, and I'm 8 years younger than him, so I would have been around 39, 40. Now, you know who you are by that time.
Yes.
And you meet this guy, and it's not because he's the bass player in the Who. I could give a shit. What?
You were 35.
I was 35, so then he was 43.
Yeah.
Okay. And you know what you want. You know that you just... it wasn't about... I had no agenda with Entwistle, but to play. And he made it so easy for me to do that. Why wouldn't I do that?
Right.
And we were thinking the same way. We were like, it was like, man, let's just go play and have fun and do whatever we can. And we had that telepathy, which, God, I never thought I'd have that again. Because, you play with the band for 29 years, Rat Race, however, you develop a sixth sense of where people are going to go. It's I call it like a flock of birds. They change direction. They never hit each other.
Yeah.
So it's, I never thought I'd feel that again. And John and I just fit from the first time we ever played together. And that was the most important thing. Let's just be in this moment. It's not that we're playing Madison Square Garden or Juanita's Cantina. It's that we're playing. And that's what mattered.
I think to me, when I met Dave Robles when I was 16 and, playing Jimmy Page and Robles is ripping off the jazz solos, and he took me under his wing. I'm like, wait, I don't understand the modal system, and Dave broke it down to me and until I got it and stuff. And then you get into this guitar playing aspect, but now being a producer and a songwriter and 30 years later and everything, and at rehearsal, I always break it down to the bass and drums. I always break it. I said, that's how you get the girls on the floor.
Well, if you don't have that, then, you can put anything on top of it. I got to veer off the point here. I'm seeing like a wildlife parade behind you,
some
man.
dogs.
Yeah, we got dog. That's my white husky, Ghost.
Ghost, very good.
Yeah.
How Game of Thrones of you.
He's not going to be with us much longer, unfortunately.
Oh, no gloom.
Yeah, no gloom.
Yeah.
Who's the other dog?
Who's the little brown one?
So that is Shandy. That's the lead singer of my new band. they're running around. They're best friends now. They're running around. It's great, you know.
Oh, that is good.
That's
And
good.
yeah, they get along great, and Ghost has a little bit of company before, you know. So so and that's the other thing too is I think it's also important to later on to just balance, you know, a balance in life, and that's what made music like, you know, working part time like I do at the Home Depot at the Garden. It's important to me because I go there and then I can think about and get excited about music, you know, and then come back and do music, and then music, if you know, because it's good to put it down every once in a while. Because I'm obsessed still at this age, obsessed, you know.
We love the Garden Center,
Yeah.
by the way.
Yeah, you have to be with nature.
Man, if it dies before, if you have had it less than a year, bring it back.
I get all sorts of stuff back.
I'm telling you, man.
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah,
you know,
Well, when quick off to know, you know, when the threat of the hurricane came by, you know, we sold about 40 generators. You know, we
right.
didn't get hit. The day after, we got 40 generators back.
Wow, that
What
sucks.
do you do with those?
They're
Why
all
were
lined
they-
up in the aisles. I'm looking around. I'm like, well, what are we going to do with these?
Wow. Well, wow. That's like the people that buy those big screen TVs for the Super Bowl and then bring them back to Best Buy. That's bad karma.
Well,
You
Best
can't
Buy
do
sells
that.
the open box, you know.
I said, you got a generator. You know you're going to need it. You're in Florida.
Yeah.
You know, guess what? Yeah, keep it, right? Because, nah, that's wrong. But hey, listen, you know what?
They brought it during the hurricane, so they got the tax break, you know, because they can hold on to it. You know, I can't judge.
No, you can't because the time, you know, what they don't realize is the power doesn't only go out when you get a weak warning of a hurricane. Sometimes the power goes out when a car crashes into the main feed. I mean, you've heard of the great blackout in New York? I mean, come on, guys. You need a generator. You got to have a generator.
I heard something that has been coming back to me when I was first learning to play and doing bluegrass with my dad when I was 12 and 13 years old, playing bluegrass guitar. I heard someone said to me, you know, and I didn't get, they said, you know, you just have to know where the one is, you know. I thought that was silly. I was like, isn't that obvious? Where the one, doesn't everybody know? And now, 30 years later, I realize that no, they don't know where the one is.
Exactly. Well, that's, you know what? I would refine that slightly.
Okay,
I would
please.
refine it slightly. Their one, they don't find their one in the same place that you find yours.
Oh, wait. You just went over my head on that one.
Well, what I mean is that everybody doesn't hear time the same. You know, some guys push time and some guys pull time, you know?
Hi, Ghost.
And if
There he is.
there's a laid back kind of guys that, you know, they're not behind the beat, but they're in the pocket, and then there's the aggressive kind of guys that are right on top of the beat. And it's, you know, everybody doesn't hear the time the same way. That's why you either lock with a bass player or you don't. And once you have that,
I'm talking to because I work with guys where they're on the 2, and I'm like, you went that, and I'm like, it was your groove.
well, you know, that's, it's funny, but you can't, oh, we're being crashed in on. Oh, look, my dad's here. His theme music.
It's Angus.
Okay, it's Angus. Here
Wow,
he comes.
this
But
time flew
anyway,
by.
just to finish the train of thought, guys feel time differently. Like that's why when your drummer doesn't lock with your bass player, nothing you put on top of it is going to be any good because the time isn't established. So you get a rhythm section that understands the time the way you like to feel it. Then it's the other guy doesn't know where one is. You know what I mean?
If that bass and drums are established, then it makes obviously the vocals. He knows when to hit it. You know, when to come in. Yeah.
Yeah. So everybody's got to swing the same way. You know, it's.
Did you ever play the song "Hello There"?
No.
Robin Zander.
Oh, hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah.
Have you ever played that?
Not see, we played it a couple times,
Like,
playing around with it. Are you ready to rock? Ready to rock? Yeah.
so do you remember like what you did in the beginning there? I'm just curious. That kind of.
I really don't. I mean, if I listened to it, it would pop right out in my head, but I don't remember. Because we talked about doing that song, and I had.
Who was that by? Cheap Trick?
Yeah.
Oh. Is that the one where they speak German in it?
No. Don't even try. No, it's the one that it's got kind of a weird time change in it. It's a little proggy kind of rocky.
Oh.
Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Are you ready to rock? Are you ready to rock? And they changed the time up in there.
Keep going with that. I want to hear you tap it out.
Do a number with me. And believe me, I'm remembering it from a rehearsal at a sound check at a club 8 years ago. So.
Well, my lead singer in the new band turned me on to it. Honestly, I'd never heard the song.
Me either.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, but I listened to it. I'm like, I realized what they did there. They wrote a quick song as an opening intro. I'm like, hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Are you ready to rock? Instead of a guy on the microphone being like, hello, everyone. Are you ready? I thought it was genius.
Yeah, it is. And I'll tell you the punchline to that. Hey, Angus, so we're not keeping you up, are we?
No. Actually, I was looking at the song. Hey, Polo.
Entwistle wrote a song called "The Last Song," which is for the end of the night. So anyway, there's that. So I'm probably gonna put a live version of that on volume 2. But anyway, man, I see Angus is coming the room. Oh, what is that? Who is that back there?
What?
In his screen. Is that Fader or no? That's Grumps?
Grumps, yeah, and Gumby.
From Halloween.
Yeah.
Did you say hello to Polo?
Hey, Polo. I said hello, Polo.
Yeah, we talked earlier, man. Great. Good to see you, man.
Good to see you too, man. Good to see you too. It's all good. It was a good show. I was watching.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun.
It flew by.
Yeah, I mean, I tell you, it's.
We have to have you back on another Monday.
Yeah, we got to do another Monday Rewind.
Yeah. Hey, hey, man, thank you for the insight, dude, because the one thing I know is I'm always searching and looking, and it's people that I'm a sponge, and I'm always like, that's how working with Howard Lindemann as a producer, came in and did my production, he's like, he was gracious enough to sit in my console for a week, and work with me and reaching out to guys like you. And, so when people come out, oh man, I can see you play guitar, you got the feeling and the soul. I'm like, well, it's an addiction,
Well, yeah, it's what you do. It's, it's what you are. If you're in it, I'm in it for life, so I'm a lifer. And if you're in it for life, you don't have a choice. You really don't have it. You can go and work here or there, but you are that. You're not the garden department. You are the guitar player.
Right.
That's,
He was playing bluegrass with his dad.
Which
when he
I
was a
think
kid.
is incredible. We talked about this before. I love bluegrass.
Yeah.
Like, real up stuff.
My dad recorded albums and wrote music with Del McCurry, who is just one of the, I remember as a kid going to the festivals, and Del McCurry, I grew up with his sons, and Ronnie McCurry, who they just played up here in Brooksville, 6 month mandolin player of the year. He's showing me his Gibson Lloyd Lore. His brother, Bobby's got the Master Tone Gibson, banjo. I grew up with these kids in rural Pennsylvania on the back porch pretending we were playing tennis rackets.
Man.
And my dad was like, he was teaching me flat pick and Martin guitar when I was 11 years old, and he wanted to do bluegrass. He really did with me and have a father-son thing. And I heard like Zeppelin 1 and I lost my mind, so, but looking back now, I mean, it was playing with him, and he still plays to this day. I mean, he's 78 years old. So
God bless him. And he's probably got a lot left just because of music alone.
Yeah.
absolutely,
So
absolutely.
send him my respect, please. That's because that's what it's all about, bro.
Well, thank you so much for everything, and I'm a big fan, and thank you for the words of wisdom, because you got a great way of communicating that.
Yeah, I'm happy to do that with you anytime, man. If you can't share it, why bother? You know what I mean? That's always been my thing. Pass it on.
I want you to get up and play Hello There with us at some time when we get on it.
Well, I'll have to listen to it all the way through to the end, but I will.
Now, what's the
I
name of
will.
your band and where are y'all playing?
Yeah. Give us the skinny.
So, right, exactly. So we're the Dirty White Boys.
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah, but I just joined the band 2 months ago, and we went in. A great lead singer. He's got, he's like us. He lives it. He's from Illinois, and just, watching all his old videos, I would say, well, what have you done? And we're getting along great. I brought in another drummer that can really communicate. He's a hitter. So now we're just, we're hitting up OCC. Got our own nights there. They were playing some bars. Now it's starting to build. Artie Fletcher is booking us. Do you know Artie Fletcher?
I don't. I don't.
Okay, he's from that old school, but I've ran into a couple people who known him from the old days. But the guy Artie Fletcher. I was on the Tonight Show for 5 years. Yeah. So.
Oh yeah. Well, believe me, I don't know him, but I know him.
You playing down here, Polo? You playing over towards me, Palm Harbor at all?
Yeah, and so we're coming down, the coast of Florida, Tampa Bay area, OCC, Orange County Choppers, which is the premier venue. We got our, I joined the band. We got our own night coming in there, and there's some. So the phone's starting to ring. You know what I mean? A little more, but I had to get the drummer in there because, like I said, man, as you know, Steve.
Yeah.
It's the drummer. He sets everything.
It all starts there, man. That's the truth. It really does. It all starts right there, because if you don't have the time, but it's, listen, it sounds like you're well on your way, and all you got to do is listen. That's the most important thing. If everybody's listening, there's no need to talk because we're listening and you hear it.
All right, man. I want to come to the mountaintop again and visit you.
Come on.
Angus, let's book it again.
You're more than welcome. Let's get a follow-up, Angus.
Yeah.
You got it. No problem.
All right, brother, for sure.
All right.
And we'll get your singer on as well. We'll get your new singer on.
Oh, he'd love to be here. He's a great guy. He's very fun. And, dude, listen, this guy, I mean, he puts it all out there every night. We're playing a bar, dude. There's 35 people out there. After being in the tribute and playing to thousands, I mean, I still go out and I'm like, I'm drenched in sweat when I get done. Dude, he's hitting the notes. We're doing some AC/DC and that's why I joined the band. I'm like, okay, we got a front guy. Now we need a rhythm section.
Yeah.
I want to be in a band where I don't have to play.
Well, listen, it sounds like you're doing the right thing, man. Just keep it up, and we'll give you all the support we can. Angus will book your singer, and we'll get you back for another memory lane.
Yep.
Thank you so much, Steve.
Thank you,
You're always
Polo.
welcome.
All right, you guys have a
Thanks for sharing your time, bro.
Bye, Polo.
All right, good to see you again.
Good to
Take
see
care,
you.
bro.
All right, logging out. Over and out.
Over and out.
There he goes.
That time
Good.
flew by.
Man, that
That's great.
flew by.
Yeah, he's good to talk to.
Yeah, he is good to talk to, and I was happy that he felt comfortable enough to, to ask me the questions,
Yeah,
because
the viewers like that he asked you questions.
I like that. I always said it's a conversation. It's not supposed to be an interview. It's supposed to be us talking. That was fun for me. I mean, he asked me questions that I really had to think. And I've been doing a lot of these interviews the past bunch of weeks, and it's interesting. Did you see the one with Jam Man?
No, I didn't, but I'm going to watch it. I found it. I will watch it.
He's pretty cool. I mean,
For a
yeah, you know,
9-year-old.
for a 9-year-old, talking about classic rock with
I was
my.
watching with the pictures on the wall and everything.
That was his dad took those pictures, and there
Yeah,
was some
yeah.
cool stuff. Oh, Tom
Yeah,
Petty
that's
was
what he
up there,
said.
Marilyn Manson, but he was a
He
cool kid.
interviews a lot of
Yeah,
rock
he
guys.
interviews people. I mean, he's got a, you know,
He's got a
it's
following.
funny because he's young interviewer, and here I am, you know, rocker. I felt like almost famous.
Well, I mean,
All right,
Okay, go ahead, hit me,
we only get a few minutes left here, so
okay.
bring it.
all right, so
No, he's got his no. What's
tomorrow
first?
night,
Okay,
Okay.
here we go, and
Woo, we were
we were just talking about he's on. Dave's on tomorrow night.
That's
it's on tomorrow night. Yeah,
Does he play with Polo?
he
No.
did. He used to play with Polo, but
Oh, okay.
Oh, let's get.
he moved back to Connecticut.
That's Dave. Yeah, that's
Okay.
Dave. Yeah, man.
That's how you remember him, like that.
Yeah, that's how I remember him, and the other picture too. Yeah, that's how I remember him.
Okay,
And I remember he was a good player, and I guess you know, that was a foggy time for me, the '90s. I think it was late '80s or '90s that we were connected with him.
he was. Yeah, he said that he did sound for you guys for Rat Race a few times. Isn't that cool?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But he had done.
I mean, I know he was. You know, I told you that he was. I think he came to the band through Dave. I don't know how that whole thing happened, but
Yeah, but he was in
Dave-
Chicago. He was in Chicago when the whole thing went down with John Emerson, with Emerson when he first played with you.
At the NAMM show?
he was there. Oh,
Yes.
that's interesting.
Ah.
That's
Yeah,
it.
he was there for that. Yeah, but I don't know. I was reading his bio a little bit, and what do you have here? It said when he was 18 years old, he had 40 guitar students already.
Wow.
Wow.
He was 18, but he had worked with a management company, did a lot of studio work, endorsements, and then eventually went on tour as an opening act for a national act, but he didn't put down who that was. You can always
We'll
ask
have
him.
to ask him tomorrow
Yeah, no,
night.
we'll ask him. Yeah.
Yeah,
I haven't spoken to Dave since he was with us. It'd be great to catch up. I get his perspective on things. I remember him being a nice person. You know, I was going to say nice kid, but he's obviously not a kid anymore.
Obviously.
But he was a nice guy, and you know, our crew, the whole crew, not just the road crew, but our gang,
Yeah.
Spanky, Alfalfa, all of them, Darla, Weezer,
Buckwheat,
Buckwheat,
get weed.
Porky.
Orky, Butch.
Wow. You know, I gotta go back. I gotta watch some of those.
Oh, you'll cry.
we watched some.
Yeah, we watched them the other night. But
Yeah.
anyway, our group was not easy to come into. It was, you know, it was a very, especially at that time, the '90s. That was a very. That'd be interesting. I can't wait to talk to him. That's going to be a lot of fun. I
Yeah.
hope he doesn't hold anything against me.
Now, real quick, I had to add a face to the Free for All Friday.
Uh-huh.
You can guess who that is.
The one with the sunglasses?
Would have to be.
Wait a minute.
Wait a minute. I'm seeing all kinds of strange people in there.
No, come on. You know all those people, but the one with the sunglasses.
Yeah, who's the one with the sunglasses?
All right, Verge.
Oh, I was gonna say
Oh,
Bird.
Verge. Okay, I don't
Never seen
recognize
him
him
with
with sunglasses
sunglasses.
on.
Yes, that's it.
Wow, that doesn't even. Well, I guess it does. Yeah, it does.
Yeah. It looks like him. Yeah.
That's good. That's good. I see faders down there.
All right, so I got a joke, and then
Can't wait.
I'll let you finish the show because it's getting late. It's 8 o'clock already.
We got time for a joke. We always have time for a joke.
Especially from you, Angus.
Yeah, especially. For
Hey,
you.
let's see if I can beat the last time I. Okay, this old timer spent his whole life in the wilderness in the mountains of Kentucky. You know, he's never been out of there. So one day he decides to go down to the big city, take a look around, see what's down there. So he drives down there, goes into a store, and he picks up this picture. It's a mirror, and he looks and he goes, "Hey, that's a picture of my daddy." And he goes, I'm going to buy this. So he buys it and he's bringing it home. On the way home, he realizes his wife didn't like his father. So, you know what? I'm going to put this out in the barn. And then every morning I go out and look at this picture of my daddy before I go out and work in the fields. So after a little while, the wife starts to get suspicious now. So she's like, I got to see what he's doing in that barn all this time. So goes out there one day. After he goes out to the fields, the wife goes out there. She's looking around. She doesn't see anything. And finally she sees the mirror. And she picks it up and she looks and she goes, oh, so that's what he's been doing, running around with that hussy.
All right.
Okay. Now listen, we're talking about hillbillies. Hillbilly family comes to the city. They've been in the mountains for their whole life. It's the father, the mother, and the young son. They don't know anything about technology. They don't really know anything. They're off the grid.
Yeah.
And so they go to one of the big skyscrapers and they're looking around. And there's mirrors everywhere, and they're going. The mother takes off. She's looking in the shops, and they're standing in front of the elevator. And all of a sudden, the doors open, and this old lady walks by them and gets in the elevator, and the doors close. The guy looks at his son and said, "Did you see that, son?" "Yeah, I did, Dad. What was that?" All of a sudden, the doors open again, and a young, beautiful girl walks out, and he goes, "I don't know, but go get your mother."
Okay. Oh, that was good. That was better than mine. But
Well,
I was inspired by yours, though.
yes, that was inspired by mine. All right, then. Then that's it for me. You can close out the show.
yep.
Okay, brother.
I will be back Thursday.
Oh, I can't wait. And yeah, let's turn it up for Thursday, man.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I already got started working on some stuff. So.
I love it.
All right.
I love
We'll
it.
see you Thursday.
All right, we'll see you Thursday, but I'll talk to you.
See you later. See you later, Lori. See you, Steve.
Yes.
Take care, kids. See ya.
Yeah.
Is that the frickin' perfect music for him
It's
or
the
what?
perfect Angus music.
Because I have other music for other people.
And how about Polo Staber? He was great.
Yeah, really. That he was great.
Yes,
Well,
he was.
His head's in the right place.
That's right.
And you just got to stay in it. That's the whole thing. You got to stay in it. And if you are playing, if you're gigging, you're in it.
There you go.
So
Okay, so tomorrow night.
It's tomorrow night, Dave. Now he said Robles. I always thought it was Robles.
Well,
We're going to find that out tomorrow with
wait.
more important information. What?
thank you, Lori.
Oh, do I need to make? Ha.
They just
Well, send me off with a bang, why don't you? All right, kids, that's going to do it. If I don't see you in the future, I'll see you in the pasture.
Good night, everybody.
Yeah.